Hello everyone, this is Bradshaw here. Our learning goal today is we are going to find volume when we can't see all the cubes. So the first question is, how do we find volume? So there are a couple of different ways that you can go about finding volume. The first way that we've been doing is counting the cubes. So you see your shape and you're just counting how many cubes are in the shape to figure out the volume. You can also count the cubes per layer and then multiply if you have several layers. How we're going to learn how to do it today is using formulas. Well, you might be asking, well, what is a formula? Well, I am going to tell you. So there's two different formulas that we're going to use in 5th grade. The first one is length times width times height equals volume. So the L represents the length, the W represents the width, the H represents the height, and the V represents volume. The other way we are going to learn how to do it is base times height equals volume. The B would be that first bottom layer. So the B, all that means is a layer. So a layer, and the H in this case is how many total layers. So total layers. So really, you guys have been using this one here the last couple days because you're finding the number of cubes on one layer and then multiplying it by the total number of layers you have. So let's try it with this one. Here is my cube and I need to find the volume of it. So using the same formula that we've been doing, I know that it's base times height. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cubes for my base. And I know that my base is the bottom part here, but it's the same top and bottom. So 10 times I have one layer here, the red, and I have two layers here, the blue. So 10 times 2 is 20. And I know that when I'm finding volume, it is units cubed. And it's because we solve by placing little cubes into everything to find volume. So this was the one way to solve it that we've been doing. The other way to solve it is volume equals length times width times height. My length would be one of the long sides, my width is one of the sides, and then the height is the number of layers up. So let's find the length first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my length is 5 times my width, the side, is 1, 2. And my height, I have 1, 2. So then I would just solve going from left to right. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. And again, I would write units cubed because we're working with volume. All right, let's try the next problem. I want you to pause the video here and I want you to try to find the volume for yourself. All right, let's solve it together. So I'm going to solve volume equals base times height first because that's the way we've been doing it. So my base, I know that it's all the same, so I'm going to count it from up here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my base, one layer, is 9 cubes. My height, I have to figure out how many layers high is it. 1, 2, 3 layers high, and each layer has 9 cubes. So then I am going to do 9 times 3. And that is 27 units cubed. All right, if I want to solve this the other way, I'm going to do volume equals length times width times height. My length is one side, so I have 1, 2, 3. My length is 3. My width is 1, 2, 3. And my height is 1, 2, 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times, bring down my 3 for my height, 9 times 3 is 27 units cubed. All right, so you're going to see problems today on your work that look like this one here. They're going to give you, the bottom layer, and then they're going to show you how many units high it is, how many layers it'll have. So that's like if you were starting with an empty box. So this one here, it's an empty box, and they're just trying to figure out how many cubes they'd need to fill it. So the first thing the person does is they grab cubes and they start filling it and packing the base, the bottom layer. And in this case, the base here holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The base holds 8 cubes. Well, they need to know now how many layers would fit within that box so that they can figure out how many cubes they would need. So they see, okay, 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers. So going back to the formulas, volume equals, they've given me a base, which is 8, times my height, which I know there's 1, 2, 3 layers that can fit in this box. So then I am going to do 8 times 3. And if I don't know my math facts, I can go, okay, 8 added to 8 added to 8. Well, I know 8 3 times is saying the same thing as 8 plus 8 plus 8. 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 8 equals 24. So I know 8 times 3 is 24. So in order to fill this box, the volume of this box would be volume equals 24 units cubed. All right, let's try this one. I want you to pause the video here for a second, and I want you to try it on your own. All right, let's do it together. So this one is a little bit tricky because you can't see the entire base. So you kind of have to infer. So you've heard of the word infer in science and you've heard about it in reading. And so in this case, in math, you're inferring what would be the base here. So I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have one here, then there's going to be one here. So 6, 7, 8. So my base equals 8. So volume equals base of 8 times my height. My height is 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 times 4. And you can do that again. That's saying the same thing as 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. And so I would add all those together. Or if I know my math facts, I know 8 times 4 is 32. So the volume of this box, if someone asked me how many cubes I'd need to fill it, would be 32 units cubed. All right, we have one more that I want us to try today before you go and do the other slides on your own. So take a second and try this one. All right, let's solve it together. So the first thing that I need to do, volume equals base times height. I have to figure out what my base is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It took 20 cubes to lay flat in my empty box. So I have 20 times how many total layers? Well, I have my base layer, 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes high. So 20 times 4. So this is saying the same thing as 20 times 20 times 20. That's supposed to be addition. 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. So I can add that and I get 40 plus 20 plus 20. Then I get 60 plus 20 and I get 80. So I know 20 times 4 is 80 units cubed. Another way I could do it, if I don't want to try to solve 20 times 4 by adding 20, I can do 20 times 4. I know 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. So my answer is 80 units